Commissioners, the sheriff's budget starts on page, and you go to the tab that says constitutional officers. It starts on page 23. Your books.
Good morning.
Good morning. Ready? Thank you. Morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Kevin Rambos, representing the Collier County Sheriff's Office and staff. Brought all the pertinent individuals to answer all of your questions as we go line by line through our budget today. I know you want to get out by 5 o'clock, but, or rather, in preparation for that, to inform the community with regard to some information that you're already aware of, I thought it might be appropriate to give a little background and overview on what we're doing with our existing resources that the community has provided us, where we want to go with future resources that we're asking for, and really how to maintain the quality of life in Collier County as best we can as we know it. And certainly quality of life has much to do with public safety, and particularly in our case, law enforcement. But it also has a lot to do with innovation, technology, and hard work from all of our employees. Your county staff, who many are in the back of this room, do a terrific job. They work together with us all the time, and certainly the men and women of the Collier County Sheriff's Office that move forward. In the short term, you know that we're facing some challenges, and certainly in a annual report that you had produced about 2 years ago, we've recognized our community as a premier place in America to live and to work and to play. We concur with that. And how do we maintain that in this difficult time? Well, our organization is defining these challenging times as an opportunity to focus on what we can do rather than what we can't do. Because that's really, I believe, the only methodology that one can use when facing the kind of challenges that not only we in this county are facing, but the state and the nation as well. So let me begin by revising an amended budget submission to you this morning. I'm reducing my request for certified operating dollars to $143.2 million from the original amount that was submitted to you at 146. I'm also looking at finding more and better ways to implement the use of inmate labor and cover the supervision of those operations with existing dollars, which in this particular year, because we have had some corrections reassignments throughout the organization, we can do that. I don't know where we'll be at the next budget year. We'll take it one budget year at a time. But in this particular case, all our opportunities for inmates working in Collier County, we're going to absorb all those costs, which is appropriate under the circumstances. And that really brings me to what is our return on investment? And it's a question that is often asked in business. As you know, very difficult sometimes to track and measure in government, and particularly for law enforcement when we're looking at preventing events rather than accounting for them and measuring them after they've occurred. But if I could, I'd like to give you and the public a little background on what have we done so far, whether it be in our existing budget and looking forward, and just a couple of examples of what we have done. We've reduced about $500,000 in capital. We have, since January, actually probably since October, set a goal of reducing our fleet by 100 vehicles, which we will have accomplished by the 30th of September of this year. As you know, we had actually spoken with you and the Productivity Committee, well recognized as well, who in the past has given us good recommendations. Certainly one was to look at our fleet and how we could better manage that. We are moving forward to do that. We've reduced overtime just this year by $1.2 million, at 25% lower than the year before. And that's important because of a number of programs out there relative to inmates in our jail facility, and particularly the 287G program, which I'll touch on in a minute. We've had the ability in January to close down the dormitory portion of the Immokalee Jail Center. That has allowed us not to have to staff or fill vacant corrections positions, reassign more staff to functions that need more attention, road patrol, community policing, investigations, and throughout, again, without increasing or making a request for positions. We've looked at reducing our need to fund all of our existing positions, as you and the county staff have done through attrition and through options for early separation. But most importantly with that, and we're looking at approximately 100 positions to be unfilled by the end of this year or the beginning of the next year. The most important question, though, that would be asked by the community is what type of a effect will that have on public safety? And certainly there would be effects if it weren't for the men and women that are sitting here before you and all of those that work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, that provide the service, because we have consolidated functions. We have asked our staff to do more with the resources that they've got, and they've committed to do more. So they're working more and doing more than they have ever done, and doing it with less staff resource. So some very important elements of where we've gone that I want to reinforce with the community. As you're all aware, in a previous meeting I committed to return $2.8 million in our current budget, and as the county manager and the staff reminded me, I owe $600,000 more. And you will definitely have that as committed. But you know, I know that you know, but sometimes it's good to talk about where would we be if we just remained on track to put together a budget for FY10. Well, our cost would actually have been $156 million. So with the number that we have reduced, we can see the difference of $13 million from where we might have been today, standing before you asking. That's important. And since 2008 until today, we've been working hard at revamping our budget to reduce operating costs, yet more importantly, maintain levels of service. There is only so far that you can go with that. And we're at that line. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. Back to return on investment, what are we getting in Collier County? Well, you know that we have one of the finest counties in the state of Florida. It's the country, if nothing else. Crime and safety, we're the lowest, have the lowest metropolitan crime rate throughout the entire state of Florida. The professional status of our members and the flagship accredited status of our organization shows that we adhere to best practices. Our budget and fiscal responsibility since 2008, and particularly this year so far, shows that we're able to increase the level of service and or maintain it while reducing operating costs. And certainly we have a new vision for the future, which instills and engages community to provide for increased safety and more service from our staff. So a very positive position that we're moving forward to. We've continued